Hello everyone, we are back with the second half of the tier list. Now that we have pretty much the baseline of everything laid out in the first half, I can probably start knocking these out much faster. So at the time of this recording, Mei is officially out, and I'm just going to, there we go, she's going to be right behind Rachel. She is, for all intents and purposes, just the water Rachel, but also the opposite at the same time. So we have magic, more really good, rear supporter. For one thing, her HP is actually really, really high, which given her physical stature, you wouldn't think would be the case, but Mei is deceptively tanky, and I'm not sure why that's the case, but, you know, it is what it is. So Mei, her special is paired line formation, fill overdrive gauge up by 5, which is okay if you need overdrives. The Banquet of the Bone Demons. Single target distortion, apply attack up 30% for 3 turns to all allies, which is excellent. And her astral is Yamato Hirosaka. If this name sounds familiar to you, that is because it is the theme of Izanami in Central Fiction. And it applies 50% damage reduction for 3 turns to all allies, which is insanity. Absolutely bonkers. But what we're really here for are the skills. Her first skill, which is the one you get at base, is Demon Strike Formation. Apply attack up 15% and defense up 30% for 3 turns to all allies. So actually, let me duplicate the tab. I'm going to go back really, really quick. Take a peek at Rachel. See, as you can see here, Rachel kind of does the opposite. So she inflicts attack down 12% and defense down 35% to all enemies. So Mei buffs and Rachel debuffs. Both of them have their own uses. The other skill she has is Curse Guard Formation. Apply 20% damage reduction for 3 turns, which is also very nice. And her traits, Earthbind Art. Attack up for all water allies, so she's already best friends with Jin. Overdrive Extend up by 1, which I believe Rachel also has. Yes, she does. Her defense goes up when there's an ally in front of her, which helps with her tankiness. Does Rachel have the capacity to tank like that? Rachel has more attack, so she can actually hit somewhat, but her defense and HP is not as great. So I'd argue Mei is better in that respect. What else? Paper Sorcery Dance. There's an ally on adjacent to her in her row, in the back row. 5% damage reduction to herself. Attack up when fighting fire, and defense up when fighting fire. So, as you can see, Mei is really, really strong. If you pulled her, if you got her for the event, and, you fought the final boss, which was, a twin fight of Lychee and Limois at level 60... You know already how invaluable Mei is. So, where she fits on a team... let me just look at the list here. Definitely best friends with Jin. That can't be understated. Though again, the thing with Jin's team composition, you need him dead center, and then you need an ally on both sides of him to make the most of his attack. So my thing is, what I'm thinking is, because assume that no one goes above 4 characters, which at the time of this recording, I don't think it's possible at all to get more than 4 characters, even though there's 6 slots, which are dependent for formation. So again, assume 4 characters at all times for a team. This means that if you run Mei with Jin, you can't also have Rachel. And depending on your priorities, that may or may not be a good thing. And again, like, I think... See, Mei and Rachel are very close. They're practically interchangeable. I think Rachel has the edge because... For one thing, she generates the overdrive, like, just as a trait standalone. But she can also inflict shock with both her special and her second skill. And preventing the enemy from doing anything for a turn, I think, is better. It just lets you wail on them with, like, with 0 opportunity cost. So, for that reason, I'm giving Rachel a slight edge, but Mei is very, very strong and should not be understated by any stretch of the imagination. Alrighty, we're making good time. Let me actually... almost forgot. Let me very, very quickly pull up the Grimoire list. Give me 1 second here. I thought I had the tab open before this, but... these are the things. We just fly off the cuff. So we also see Mei's exclusive Grimoire. I don't know if this is being rerun, but if you got this Grimoire, then it's really good. Damage reduction, 7% for the whole party. Also very nice. For Mei herself... See, Mei focuses mostly on buffing the party. So, there's not really... To my knowledge, there's not really a Grimoire type that can... that will extend buffs. By the way, this is also more recent to the wiki. They added a sorting tab that lets you just select... list grimoires by selection of skill effects, which, God bless, who was it? It was I think it was Chao. It was either Chao or Hachi, one of the two. They both do great work for the community. Let me just state that first and foremost. But the fact of the matter is, this is so helpful. So as for Mei, there's nothing that really helps her extending buffs. So really, you'd probably want, if you don't have damage reduction already, you probably just want, like, heat generation or overdrive up. In which case you get Phenomena Intervention, the Gain Arts, Deadly Sign, the Gajun one if you're on budget, or Oct, or just like hate value down, which Rachel also does. So for this you want the Intelligence Department, the Bullet. The Bullet Grimoire was also like a bonus thing for the event. It got you more points, so people probably have this now if they didn't already. But you also have Arakune, the Lambda one. If you're on a budget, you get like the Terami, or not Terami, the Susanoo Pakumen, or Akiro. Just assume like the 2-in-1 grimoires don't really do anything. So yeah, that's what you want with Mei. So next on the list, if we're going down by rarities, so still in the SS class. Next, I'm going to place Noel, regular military Noel. I think she's A tier. I'm going to put her above Saya, actually. Because make no mistake, Saya is still really, really good. But if we go to Noel's page, which I will pull up right now. Just make sure it's recording so I don't have a mistake like last time. Okay, we're good. So Noel Vermillion. Okay, so these are her cards. The Optic Barrel, gain drive up 25% for 3 turns. Distortion, Zero Gun Fenrir, fill overdrive up by 10, which is very nice. And it's an AoE, very important. And her Astral is Valkyrie Veil, and it gains her evasion for 3 turns. Skills, Full Drive, gain drive up 22% for 2 turns. And type 8 accumulator through, gain heat generation up 51% for 3 turns. So Noel is a drive machine. Like if you look here, she has 35% chance to pull a drive token in the deck. And she's also multi-hitting, like all of her attacks are multi-hits, which builds up drive even more. So if you put her on a team, and these are her traits, so type 15, heat gen up by 20%. Type 16, aerial burst, drive up 15%. Overdrive gen up by 1. With type 18. Chain armor, attack by wind, 5%, doesn't matter. Oh, damage reduction. I shouldn't say doesn't matter, but you know, it's very minute. Type 22, when attacking a black beast enemy, attack up by 50%. So Ragna, watch out. And type 23, when attacking wind element, attack of 5%. So Noel, if you want to just spam distortions again and again and again and again and again, you put Noel on your party. She hits really hard, capping out at 7,800 attack. You know, a lot of HP as befitting attackers. As far as straight attackers go, I think she's on the lower end of HP. Another great thing, she can go in either the front or the back row. It doesn't matter to her. She'll do the same amount of damage, which is excellent. So really, what you want to do is, you know, you give her, you know, drive up grimoires, the imaginary number field, Ragna, drive up and special up by 25%. Sin Architect, probably her best one, because it gives her a bit of defense and also increase her revolvers, and revolvers built overdrive. Legacy weapon, drive up by 30%. Can't go wrong there. 3 stars, Hecaton Kairos, and bang on the glider. Something I don't know if I mentioned last time, but if you max cap out a grimoire, specifically a 3-star, because those are the ones you're likely to pull the most. If you max cap out a 3-star grimoire, the effect it has actually increases. Again, if you're on a budget. So, like, I run this on my main account. I have a max capped out bang. And it makes the drive up go up from 25% to 30%, which is the same as Legacy Weapon, but for a lower cost and slightly lower stats, but again, you want to spam drive after drive after drive, so these are what you want to go for. Also, heat generation. So Grimoire of Awakening, which by itself does that, but you're not really using it for that. in this department, the Imperator's Light is probably her best one because it also gives her like over 1,000 defense, 40% increase. Herself, Manifestation of Technique, Heat Generation. In the 4-star category, you have the Student Council, you have Endless Pursuit with Zwei. They're all pretty decent. This 500 defense is pretty good. Early Bird Gets the Worm. I am blanking on the name of this character. Who is this character? Elise von Klagen. I actually don't know who that is. That's probably from some material I have yet to actually read for myself. Whoops, I need to filter it again. Heat Generation up. Heat Generation is what you want for getting distortions left, right, and center. Drives just increases the damage of it. So I misspoke earlier. I apologize. Heat Generation is what you want to do if you want more distortions. Drive up also isn't bad in that respect. But, you know, again, generally speaking. Those torn apart. And the Amani one if you're on a budget. Which I think heat up 25% if capped out. So again, that's Noel. Her distortions AoE, which is always nice. Fills up your overdrive. Overdrive gauge filling up by 10 is very, very good. And how many times she gets revolver, she's likely to build up overdrive faster than some other characters. So that's Noel in a nutshell. And like I have on my main account, I have her SS+++, which unlocks the very nice alternate art, which I believe is also like the icon for the app of the game itself. So you've definitely seen this before. But yeah, suffice to say, very strong. And just the sheer fact that she can be in the front or the back row, I think really, really pushes her up for me personally. On the other end of the fire department, we have Zwei. She is the other tutorial gacha character that you can get for free. Though, again, as per the word of God, Mori himself, you probably really, really want Jin instead. For reasons I went over in the first video. I'll probably link it in the top right about now if I remember how to do that correctly. So, Zwei is something of a... She's very frail, but definitely glass cannon. I think she has the highest raw attack stat of all the 5-star attacker characters. Let me quickly go back to Noel. Where is she? 70... Hold on. I might actually be wrong. Yeah, Noel actually does a little bit more damage anyway. Fancy that. Sorry, I had to pause to take a drink there. So, my thing with Zwei, for one thing, all of her attacks are single target. They're all multi-hits. They actually do more hits than Noel does, which is nice for overdrive and heat generation, but the thing is, all of her entire gimmick is burning the opponent, inflicting burn, and she doesn't really have a means to consistently apply it. Like her first trait is Azure Consuming Blaze. If the opponent's burned, then her attack goes up by 20%. Which is nothing to snuff at, but she has no means to guarantee it. Because like her, as you see here, her special, distortion, her astral, all of them are meant to inflict burning. Her skill is just an attack up for 24% for one turn, which isn't that great. And her second skill, gain attack up by 20%, and you can apply regeneration to an ally for 3 turns, which is nice. But as we'll see later, there are other characters who do that easier and more consistently. So we have heat generation up by 20%. When behind an ally, her crit goes up by 10. When attacking wind, special up by 10. Like, not even flat attack up, just her special, which is kind of whatever. Damage reduction, and then at SS+++, she gets burn immunity. So rear attacker, again, if you can land the burn, then by all means she'll probably do you well. But as I see it, Noel outclasses her in just about every other aspect. And again, the problem being, like, there's no grimoire at the moment for better or worse. There's no grimoire that will increase your chances of inflicting a status ailment. So for this, you probably just want to give her a hate value down, just so she's not targeted. Because again, she's very frail, like barely over 22,000 HP, middling defense. So yeah, you want to take the heat off her if you decide to commit to her. If you're a big Zwei fan, then by all means. Like, I like Ringo and X-Blaze, but really, I don't think she's going to do you well. So honestly, she's feeling like kind of a B tier. Yeah, because the other thing, which I forgot to mention with Noel, like, they're both fire type units, Noel and Zwei. The thing is, at the time of this recording, because fire beats wind and dark, but there's not that many wind and dark units you're going to see. Because again, like, there's only these three. We're not counting Terami because he's an asshole. We went over this. For the purposes of this tier list, Terami doesn't exist, because who really has him, right? So yeah, you just have Arcune, Ripper, and Saya, and people probably aren't using these three anyway. And for wind, you have Rachel, who's a support. You want to get her out of there, but like, you want to get Rachel out as soon as possible, but generally speaking, she's not hard to take down, you want to say? Like, she's not as bulky as Mei. So, like, Jin could probably do it. Or S, because S beats wind anyway. The light element, that is. And there's Raquel. We're going to go over her in a second. But chances are you're probably not going to see that much of Raquel anyway, just because she's very rare. So, with all that said, Zwei really doesn't have much of a purpose. Like, she hits hard and burns, but, you know, everyone above her hits harder and hits more consistently in that respect. So, that's why. Like, for the other tutorial character, unless you're a big Ringo fan, you're probably not finding much success with her. So next, the other SS tier is Raquel. Let me take a look at her page. It's funny, I actually have Raquel. I got Raquel when I was originally going for S when that event ran. I wasn't aiming for her specifically, but you know, I have her. But I haven't actually used her yet. I haven't had a reason to field her at the moment. So she's a rear attacker, much like Ringo. Or much like Zwei. Higher attack. Slightly higher HP and defenses, honestly. Chaos, Magic, and Vampire. Let me have a look here. Special is Great Break, attack up by 15% for 3 turns. Laurel Beat, regeneration 10% for all allies, which is nice. And again, like I just said, like, Zwei has regeneration too, but here, Raquel does it better. And she doesn't need a merge to actually use it. And Magnolia Dance. Attack up 30% for 4 turns. Which is fine. Okay, for the skills. Full Moon Dust. Heat generation up by 50% for 3 turns. That's kind of wild, actually. And Largo Seal. 14% for self. Apply regeneration. 10% for 3 turns to all allies. So really, she's listed as an attacker, but she has, you know, her fair few... excuse me. She has a fair few supportive capabilities as well. And her traits, Gardenia Waltz, all wind element allies attack up by 5%, which is nice. If you use like Tau or Old Valkenheim, that'll help you a lot. Regeneration up by 5 by default. Next to an ally, healing up by 10. And behind an ally, heat generation up by 10%. Attacking Earth drive up by 10. And DR against Earth by 5%. So Raquel, not bad. Not bad. Let me just look at this again. Regeneration. Okay, so for as far as grimoires go, she probably wants healing up. Like, this is assuming that you have like all the skills unlocked at SS3. So because she can heal and regenerate on command, you probably want healing up just to fill that dual role. So you want Tea Party, the Orientown healing percent. I think if you played the... Okay. No, is it not here? I guess not. I might be doing something else. But anyway. So the Orientown one, Lenoir's solo Grimoire, both of these are healing up by 20%. Healing Light, the Celica one, 20%. And then if you're on budget, you have Install and Hinata from X-Blaze, the Iron Chef. So that's something you can do. You could do healing. You could also do hate value down. You're going to hear me say hate value down a lot, because that matters. I don't think there's anything else of note. You could also do like a heat generation build with 9 or the Imperator. The Imperator is probably the best just because, again, holy crap, 1,000 defense or 1,100 defense, really, really good. Yeah, so for Raquel, where is she? Yeah, she's almost S. Kind of the same problem with Fire, because, like, Wind beats Dark and Earth, so she has an excellent check to Naoto. But aside from him, she's not, like, super effective against anything. Loses to S, who's probably going to be super common. Goes even with Jin, but because Jin hits so hard, she's probably dead in one shot anyway if he gets, like, a freeze off. Yeah, really, that's about all I can say for her. Like, but because she also heals so much, that support value is very nice to have in the pocket. So she's probably interchangeable with Noel, maybe a smidge below. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. She's on par with Noel. Probably a little, just a tiny bit less, because Noel's heat generation is off the charts. I think that's it for everyone in SS Plus? Or SS Plus Rarity to start with. Let's look at the list one more time. Old Valkyrie isn't here, but he's S rarity. My Makoto. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, that's it for the SS Plus. For the SS Rarities, rather. So yeah, I'm probably gonna split this up again into a different video. But for now, this is the tier list for all the 5-star / SS rarity characters, in my opinion, for the Dark War PvP. Again, take everything I say with a grain of salt, because everything could also flip on its head. This is assuming PvP works like, not true PvP, but like PvE, in which it's just your team against the opponent's team. If it works like something completely different, if it's true PvP, then some of this may be subject to change, but, you know, we'll see as we go along. So yeah, that's the SS Plus rarity and the dark characters, just because there's so few. And Terami's still a douchebag, so... next, I think next video will be the one that will finish off all the S rarities and below. So thank you all for watching. I have been Sonic Fiend / the Grimoire Index, and have a great day, everybody.